This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
From the ashes of the Disney animated Renaissance, scraping the vault.
Okay, hold on, but do it again, but more disappointed this time.
Okay. From the ashes of Disney animated Renaissance.
Now sexy. Okay, hold on. This is all staying in, by the way. Okay, now sexy.
All
right, that's it right there.
From the ashes of the Disney Renaissance, it's scraping the ball.
Okay, now one more.
Okay.
Like you.
Why am I sweating?
Because you just were so sexy. Well, I am sweating. Okay. And
all right,
one more, like you might care, and go.
All right. From the ashes
of
the Disney Renaissance of animation, it's scraping the vault.
Wow.
I am one of your hosts. I'm Jimmy. The director in this episode is Dan.
Hi, I'm Dan. I hate the Beatles.
And the lovely, best-looking teeth I've ever seen is Audrey.
I have 0 cavities.
Oh, I'm going blind.
Yay.
I'm going blind.
I know. Actually, my dentist told me today, like, wow, the whites of your eyes are so white, but your teeth aren't as white. And I was like,
Oh.
I wasn't self-conscious about this, but now I am a
Wow.
little self-conscious about it. They were obviously trying to
Yeah.
upsell teeth whitening, but
Of course. Oh, yeah. That's they neg you. Dentists famously neg.
yeah. How's that flossing coming?
Did you say it's because I don't eat with my eyes?
Exactly.
No.
I stopped
But I
drinking
did-
coffee in my eye holes.
I did say that to the hygienist because there was like a weird cooking show on TV and we were like, wow, those tomatoes look so vibrantly red. And then I was like, yeah, you eat with your eyes first. And so there you go.
Maybe that's it. Maybe your dentist thought they like overheard it and got word, and they're just like, I think she might be eating with her eyes. I need to figure out a way to. I don't know.
Your
But
eyes
then
are bigger than your
that
teeth.
doesn't fit with my. I'm tired.
So
everybody.
we got it's St. Patrick's Day.
Happy
Peek behind the
St.
curtain. It's St.
Patty's
Patrick's
Day.
Day. It is.
And we
Gotcha.
remembered to record this month.
We did. Well, it's not that we forgot.
We forgot that we needed to schedule a recording until
Right.
it was impossible to schedule.
Well, it was a short month, to be
Yeah.
fair. We did 2 in January, I think.
We
right?
did release. Well, actually, to be fair, we did release one on February 30th, but it didn't happen because the day didn't happen.
And listener,
That's
if
right.
That's some metaphysical humor for you, everybody.
Whoa.
if you think otherwise, you're wrong, and we're not gaslighting you.
That's right.
That's right.
We it's March. It's St. Patrick's Day. I'm currently enjoying a beer out of a green can. It's not Irish at all, but it's delicious. And because of the hour in which we're recording, me being 3 hours later than you,
Yes.
I was going to say 3 hours older, but
Well,
I'm
that's true.
technically 3 hours older. But I might get drunk during this episode.
Yay.
So stay tuned, listener.
Speaking of people getting drunk, you might hear the party in my house in the background.
Yay!
What's
Festive
going on?
St. Patty's Day. Top of the podcast to you.
Top of the podcast.
Top of the podcast to you.
Top of the podcast to you, Daniel.
It's
Danny
great.
boy.
It's so nice to
Danny
be.
boy.
Oh, look at me, I'm Irish.
Sultan?
Mrs. Packer.
So we watched Kronk's new groove.
Oh, we sure did.
That's right.
Well,
We're
we
back
watched
to
some of it. It
From
sequels.
beginning to end.
was on. The whole thing was on in my house. Was I in the room the whole time? Can't say.
Mm-hmm.
And as is evidenced by one of the synopses that I brought that was from ChatGPT. I said, give me a detailed synopsis of Kronk's New Groove. I read it. I'm like, it may be 100% right. I don't know. I don't know.
Speaking of ChatGPT, I was originally thinking of doing this in a different order, but we used to talk about what we think the movie was.
Oh, that's right. Remember when we cared?
Yeah.
We still joking. We still care.
So I'm going to share with you the synopsis. I put into Chat GPT, come up with the plot for a sequel to The Emperor's New Groove. And here's what that thing came up with.
Let's call him like Nick.
Chatty.
Nick came up with. And I think going forward, we can apply this idea. Is what ChatGPT, an AI bot, came up with better than the actual movie?
Ooh.
Spoilers.
It will.
After his hilarious adventures as a llama in The Emperor's New Groove, Emperor Kuzco has successfully regained his human form and resumed his duties as the ruler of the Kingdom of the Sun. However, Kuzco is struggling with the pressures of being a good leader and finds himself feeling unfulfilled by his daily routine.
It's just like
one day,
Dune
Kuzco
Part 2.
decides to take a break from his royal duties and sets out on a solo adventure to explore the kingdom. Along the way, he meets a group of rebels who are fighting against the oppressive rule of a neighboring kingdom. Despite his initial reluctance to get involved, Kuzco is drawn to their cause and decides to help them in their quest for freedom. Together, Kuzco and the rebels embark on a dangerous journey to the neighboring kingdom, facing numerous obstacles and challenges along the way. They encounter treacherous terrain, vicious beasts, and the kingdom's ruthless ruler who will stop at nothing to maintain his hold on power. As Kuzco and the rebels fight to overthrow the tyrant and bring freedom to the oppressed people, Kuzco learns valuable lessons about leadership, courage, and the importance of standing up for what is right. In the end, Kuzco emerges a true hero, respected and loved by his people for his bravery and selflessness. With a mixture of humor, heart, and action, The Emperor's New Groove 2, Kingdom in Crisis, is a thrilling sequel that will delight fans of the original film and introduce a new generation of viewers to the lovable, hilarious character, Emperor Kuzco. That was written by a robot.
Okay,
but
there's
better.
There's no Pacha.
I know.
What is he doing?
You
just
can
like
throw
kicking
Pacha in there.
rocks.
He doesn't have to be a part of the synopsis. He can still be there.
He's like mayonnaise. He goes with anything.
What if it's like a Don Quixote sort of thing, where Cusco is the Don,
Maybe.
and Pacha is the
That
Rancha?
would, you know what? That would also have been better and probably easier.
And it has music
The
in
story
it.
already exists.
Has Disney ever done an adaptation of Don Quixote?
Probably with Donald Duck or something.
Oh God.
I'm stuck on something, Dan.
Yeah.
Like mayonnaise, it goes with everything. I'd like to introduce a new segment. What things don't go with mayonnaise?
Nothing.
Churros.
I'd find a way.
Okay.
What if it was like a tahini flavored churro? Then it would be really
Ooh.
good.
That's a good point.
Like a savory churro.
Dan discovered a concoction, Manateo. That's tapatio and mayonnaise.
Oh, I love
And
it.
it's delightful.
It's wonderful.
Ah, yeah.
It's wonderful. The Mormons famously came up with fry sauce, which is mayonnaise and ketchup with delightful herbs and spices.
And then you throw in some tapatio, and then you've got Ski Mountain French fry dip.
In Utah, they call that the devil's dip.
Oh,
They call a lot of things that. So this movie came out in 2000.
sunscreen.
But it's okay. You know what? I'm not going to go further with that. This movie came out in 2005. Hey, so anyone want to know what was going on in 2005? Yes, you do. Here we go.
Sure.
Audrey was born.
I know this song.
the Live 8 benefit concerts happened, and it was held in London, Philadelphia, Paris, Rome, Berlin, Moscow, Edinburgh, Cornwall, Johannesburg, a city that sounds like a fake place, and Barrie. The purpose of the event was to raise money.
Johannesburg's
blah, blah, blah.
a real place, Dan.
It's not.
Is Barrie a real place?
Hey, but you know what is a real place? It's New Orleans, Hurricane Katrina. I'm not going to say more. It's super depressing. Cosmos 1 mission, the launch of the unmanned Cosmos 1 failed during June. It's a depressing year so far. The first stage, just to be fair, I haven't read these yet, so this is real-time reaction. The first stage of the Volna rocket that was supposed to launch the spacecraft failed, and the craft was unable to achieve orbit and instead crashed into the Barents Sea, also a fake place, less than a minute and a half after launch. The United States, a real place. YouTube happened, and the world has improved exponentially since then. No regrets.
No regrets.
By the way, hold on. By the way, if you want to see how horrible YouTube actually is, start a new profile and remove all your cookies.
Oh.
And YouTube is a horrifying place.
Wow.
You will immediately have the most awful things shoved in your face.
Oh, no.
It's terrible.
Like when you go to a hotel with a smart TV and you just don't log in.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it's bad. Anyway, moving on with more.
Hey, speaking of YouTube, Dan.
Yes.
And Indiana Jones, which was open in 2005. Obviously, it opened in the 90s, but Fresh Baked just came out with a new video, new scenes and fixed scenes at Indiana Jones Adventure reopening.
Don't tell me.
That was the headline.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you. I haven't watched it yet. Anyway, keep going.
Okay, here we go. And more sexy. Speaking of more sexy, George W. Bush starts his second term as the 43rd president of the United States. The Kyoto Protocol.
Bless you.
Those are words.
Do we need to call the police? Or-
Is that
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
I haven't had a drink today.
Drunk Irishman.
I just got off work.
Okay.
Kyoto Protocol was introduced. This is intended to cut global emissions of greenhouse gases. It came into effect without the support of, guess who, the United States and Australia. Liberia, also a fake place. Ellen Johnson, hey, she's on our show. Sirleaf is elected president of Liberia, becoming the first woman president of an African country. There was earthquakes. Pope John Paul died. The Emperor from Star Wars became the new Pope.
Palpatine?
Yes.
Somehow, Palpatine returned. Way to go, writer's room.
Hey, who knows?
and it's
Somehow.
guess who?
They may as well have said MacGuffin.
Anyway, Audrey, did you see that film?
The Rise of Skywalker.
No, The Rise of Skywalker.
I did.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
I shipped Reylo for a while.
Totally.
It's embarrassing. But
That movie
No.
was
besides that, those movies were fun to watch, but they're like candy. They give you cavities and they're bad for you, and they're poorly written, and Rey is a Mary Sue, and that's all I'll say at the end.
Audrey just got back from the dentist. That's why everything's about cavities now.
Yes.
Oh,
I have a trailer.
Oh, great. Because I was going to say, you know what else came out in 2005? Kronk's New Groove.
Right. I have a trailer, but it's not for this movie. However, it is for a movie that I feel like very much inspired what they thought this movie would be.
Shrek Fiona!
I was going to say Shrek.
Sleeping
100%.
Beauty! Oh!
All you have to do is make
these
this
ball shows! Flip over the wheel of torture!
You are cordially invited.
Dinner is served! Everybody dig in!
Don't mind if I do, Lillian.
To meet the family.
We're all quietly
Easy
and
to see
politely
where
listening
Fiona
to the
gets her
trailer
good
for the
looks
better
from.
movie.
Make new friends.
Pray for mercy from...
in Boots.
I've heard that the new Puss in Boots movie is actually really good.
This is nominated for an Oscar.
After Happily Ever After.
All I could think of when I was watching the first movie, Emperor's New Groove, was, oh, this is Shrek. This is Disney's version of Shrek.
Cameron Diaz and Antonio
But it's,
Banderas.
I'm just gonna stop like, but you're right. But I think what made it work and interesting was that Emperor's New Groove was like almost like, hey, they made a comedy, we can make a comedy too. It wasn't like we're gonna do Shrek.
No, I think you're right, but they borrowed from some of that breaking the fourth wall and some of the sort of like self-referential stuff. Like it's okay for us to address the fact this is a movie.
Yeah,
and as a result, it really worked. I like David Spade as a snarky, David Spade type character, right?
I'm tired of him now, but at the time,
right.
honestly, I wasn't like not a fan, but like I wasn't a fan of David Spade. But I remember, I think I saw the movie in theaters at least 10 times because it was good. It was relieving to have a like good, genuinely funny Disney movie.
By all accounts, this is sort of the end of Disney animation renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is kind of the end. And then Pixar took over and, Disney was just taking credit for all the Pixar stuff because they owned it.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
yeah. And then of course, Frozen kind of, there are Disney animated features that are almost indistinguishable from Pixar at this point. Right?
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's the brand now,
Yeah,
for good or
exactly.
for bad. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
As long as they don't change the Little Mermaid at all. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, everybody.
This imaginary fish person is definitely always white.
It's so silly.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
But
it's
I wish-
an imaginary merp thing.
Like, representation really matters. It's important.
It does.
Yeah.
And
right.
I'm just waiting for the day that they put a character on screen who has crippling allergies like I do. Because I can't relate to anybody who isn't sneezing constantly or like stuffing tissues up their sleeves.
Right.
So, yeah. Come
We'll
on,
get
Disney,
there.
do
It'll be-
better.
It'll be in the form of an M&M, I'm sure. But anyway,
What is a
so
woman? An M&M.
that's right. Well, not sexy enough, if you ask me. But anyway, the Emperor's New Groove was good. I really liked it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I watched it by myself in my office where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun movie. I thought Shrek the whole time, to the point. And then I watched Kronk's New Groove with my children last night, and I really enjoyed the beginning. I was like, it starts the same way. I get the same sort of tropes. It's the same voice actors. I mean, we're talking some legit voice actors, right?
I don't think David
Yeah.
Spade was back, was he?
He was back. David
Oh,
Spade was
okay.
back.
Wow.
John
Wow.
Goodman was back. Patrick Warburton, Eartha Kitt, Wendy Malick, like all the whole cast was back.
Mm-hmm.
And that legitimized it for me that this is going to be another good movie. And so the opening scene to establish Kronk has a restaurant. He's just being Kronk, who was just kind of a secondary character in the first movie. They made a movie about him. I get it. I appreciate it. He's kind of stupid and fun. And Patrick Warburton's a great actor, I think. And then
I feel like this movie is like if they were to make to pick this movie as an example, like Flounder goes to college.
exactly. That's a great analogy. And so I'm watching
a
this
real
thing
movie?
and I'm,
No,
I mean, but
don't give them any
it-
ideas. Don't give them any ideas.
But it's perfect analogy because it's like it's a character in Little Mermaid which and you loved Flounder or whatever. But if they made a whole movie about Flounder, and to Dan's point,
It would
the movie about
flounder.
him going to college.
Hey, Jimmy, did you catch that?
What?
I said it would flounder.
Oh, Ew. And we would see if it was worthy.
Oh,
It would be it would be soulless.
Oh yeah, that's a fish.
and I would be crabby while watching it.
Mm-hmm. I'd go take a carp. Oh my god! So then I'm watching the movie, and then it tricked me because it was one of those like with the Beauty and the Beast nonsense where it was that whole series of movies that was not a movie. It was like 3 episodes from a TV show that they tried to turn into a movie. That's what this was. Now I don't think it was 3 episodes of a TV show, but that's what it felt like.
That would have been the dumbest premise for a TV show ever.
And so I'm watching.
They
this,
made
and
a
I
TV
get-
show, didn't they? They made
Well,
Kronk
that-
into a
that
I
must
TV
think
be
show.
they
it.
did make an Emperor's New Groove TV show.
That must
for
be what
a short
this is.
time.
But and I'm sorry, listener, I didn't go back. There were a ton of references. There were a lot of very fun sort of meta references about things and Disney and stuff. I just don't have the energy to go back and watch it. But we're getting through the first story arc, and I'm like, okay, great. This movie is about to end. That was a perfect amount of time.
Yeah.
Feels like it's been about an hour.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the timestamp and it had been 25 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God.
It's
and
a
I literally
slog.
got up and left the room. I just couldn't anymore.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
my reaction to the movie initially was, I don't know how I'm gonna. I don't know what movie they can possibly make as a Disney sequel, knowing what their game is, that would like please me. So,
And I feel like the Toy Story 2 is a great example. It's like that was
Yeah.
meant to be straight to video, and it was just too good for straight to video.
right.
And so they released it in the theaters. And I think the same would have been true for this. If it was good enough to release, they would have.
Possibly.
So that's
But
all you need to know. If it's straight to video, then it's because it's bad.
I remember seeing the opening scene and what you're talking about with the tropes and everything, and I was just like, oh, so they just decided to do paint by numbers, but it's very likely that the writing team that made the first movie funny is still involved.
Right. The actors are still involved. It would make sense. But there is a very distinct difference between the opening of the movie and the end of the movie that I think are really good. I really enjoyed both. The stuff in the middle is a lot of crap. And I want
Audrey.
to tell you about it.
Audrey, what did you think about it initially with the opening and I almost went into Cosby impersonation. That wouldn't be good.
I just,
No.
to sum it up, I think they kind of used up their goodwill from the first movie too quickly. And the formula doesn't work twice. It doesn't, I was like, no. 5 minutes in, I was like, I know I'm not going to like this.
I think also the first movie, and again, this isn't out of any fandom or like to imply that. I mean, any well-made movie understands the talent it has and uses it in an appropriate way. And I think the first movie really worked because David Spade was the main character.
Agreed.
And it was just like, oh, this is this guy's style. This is like his character. This is who he is. Let's just make a Disney. It's almost like what they did with Robin Williams. It's like, let's just, and instead of shoehorning in the Robin Williams element, they're like, let's just make a David Spade movie.
And it worked.
Totally
And
worked.
that character was of its time,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked. And there's a lot of interviews with David Spade. I've gotten more and more interested in him as I've started listening to a podcast called Fly on the Wall. It's a Saturday Night Live podcast with Dana Carvey and David Spade, where they tell the same stories over and over again. But he's told the story about this movie quite a bit, and that he went in and recorded the whole thing, and then they made him come back and start over and redo. And so the movie we saw is not the movie they originally made, and Michael Eisner didn't like it, and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, that's Kronk's New Groove, everybody. What we're going to be drinking while we're watching this.
We didn't even talk about the part where Yzma is a furry.
Oh, hey,
Oh
Jimmy.
my God,
What
I
did
missed
you think of that?
Which part?
Why
The
did
part where
they
Yzma's
make
a
her
furry.
half? Why did they keep the tail? And that's the
Oh.
other thing is Kronk doesn't exist without Yzma. He's just too like him as a standalone character. It doesn't make any
Right.
sense without his foil.
Yes, agreed. It's not a complete enough character. The devil angel thing never worked for me, even in the first movie.
I liked it in the
He was
first
cute
movie.
the first time it happened.
And
I
then
think.
it gets
It's
overused.
like, oh,
and then
here's this thing.
they
Way
they
overused.
give it to Tipo, the little kid, and then
Yeah.
you realize Kronk isn't that unique because Tipo has these angel devil characters, and that's what made Kronk. He's a real weird guy, so it would make sense that he's the only person in this world who talks to his shoulder angels, and they point
That's
that out
fair.
in the first movie. So now that Tipo's got him, it makes it less special.
Well, and
that's fair.
The focus on him always loving cooking and everything robs the humor from the first movie, where
Right.
like he all of a sudden becomes like obsessive with this minor detail that Yzma is throwing out there. Like, we'll have him over for dinner, and he's like, "Okay, here's the spread."
Right, which is funny. It's a funny bit.
Yeah.
Because he's this big, like, hulking bodyguard dumb
Men
guy.
don't cook. That's stupid.
Exactly.
That's silly.
Exactly.
Ladies do that.
He's a Renaissance
They definitely
man.
don't get.
He has
They
many
definitely
interests.
don't hide oven mitts under their pillow and have their menacing dad come and take them away.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So
Okay. All right.
I'd love
So
to hear every detail
Let's get into it.
that I watched
This-
last night.
Film begins near the end, just like the first film. The film begins with Mudka's meat hut exploding in a giant mess of cheese. And Kronk, Patrick Warburton, narrates the story, explaining how he had recently lost everything. Then the film rewinds, which I do like that effect, by the way, rewinding stuff, to earlier that same day with an opening
must
theme
love the end of
recapping.
our show.
What's that?
You must love the end of our
Exactly.
podcast. Probably the
film
only
re-
one.
Yeah.
I like
Early
it.
the same day with an opening theme recapping how Kronk gave up on being Yzma, Eartha Kitt's evil henchman. After this, Emperor Cusco, David Spade, quickly explains how Kronk's new groove is Kronk's movie, not Cusco's movie, which I really did like. I liked that. That's why I felt like this opening thing was going to be a good movie. Because it cut to, we're all thinking it, right? Emperor's New Groove was a David Spade movie. Here's this thing. David Spade comes in. He's like, it's his movie, not my movie. It's my movie. His movie, not my, that was cute. Kronk is shown to now be chef.
You're allowed to think that.
Thank you. And head delivery boy of Mudka's Meat Hut. Then a man in a robe comes in delivering a llamagram.
Oh, because llamas and I got it.
Is that 100% of the reason? Because David Spade's character became a llama in the first movie?
Well,
Is
they're
there
also
any other reason?
Well, they're also in a mountainous South American country that.
Yeah, llamas are probably like their horses.
Yeah.
They ride them like
Okay.
steeds.
I thought it
They
was
make
done.
their clothes out of them. and-
That's science. I'm an anthropologist
Science.
right now.
Hold on, let's get one
And
out for
by the
science.
way, what is this culture? Is it like Egypt? Is it South America? Is it...
It's whatever
It's-
it needs to be.
Exactly.
like-
Dan put the.
All right, Dan, here's my question. If they put Kronk
Yeah,
in Epcot,
yeah.
where is he?
Wherever they don't need. Okay, hold on.
South
It's a real-
America.
real
Realistically,
question.
they would put him in. They would put him in. I bet it would be in Mexico.
That's where I went to. So, okay, South America. All right, so he gets a llamagram.
But if they had it, no, oh no, he would be. Well, first of all, he'd be in Animal Kingdom,
Huh?
Of course.
and
yes,
Disney's
of course,
Animal
because of the
Adventure, or
llama.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay, so Kronk gets a llamagram from his father, Poppy. Now, this is where the movie lost me for the duration. Poppy always disapproved of young Kronk's culinary interests and wished that Kronk instead would settle down with a wife in a large house on a hill.
Yeah.
Because of the llamagram, Kronk is doomed and explains to Mata, the waitress, who is the stereotypical old New Jersey
The
fat
puppy.
waitress lady.
And
my God.
and she's in the original movie.
Yes, she is.
table for two.
Exactly. That one. You're all picturing it, listener. Table for two. She doesn't care about anything. She just wants to serve her tables.
What's the like term for anachronism, but with like ethnic stereotypes?
Stereotype?
No, I mean, but like in ancient Peru, where we think this movie might be,
/ Mexico.
/ Mexico, where does this like New York Jewish woman fit in?
In the kitchen, duh.
By the way, years
She's
ago,
a catch.
some friends and I came up with like the catch-all name for this like person.
Do you have friends outside of this room?
Some maybe.
Traitor.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
And it's Barb Szymanski. This woman is
Oh,
Barb
she
Szymanski.
is Barb Szymanski.
Yeah, she's Barb Szymanski.
She's Polish. She's Jewish. She's Italian.
She's just it's whatever ethnicity needs to apply.
100%.
And just Barb Szymanski, it's the waitress that, goes around, usually carries the decaf,
She says hun a lot.
Yeah, hun, but not in a loving way, like hi, what's up, hun?
Yeah.
It's Barb Szymanski.
Used to smoke, doesn't anymore.
Yeah.
Marbled
Barb
rye,
Szymanski's-
sourdough, wheat, or
It's like
plain.
It's like the Asher
Toast.
of waitresses. You can all picture it, but Asher's actually a real person, of course.
He's
And
very
cool.
real.
So Kronk feels like he's doomed, and he explains to Barb Szymanski how he used to have what Poppy wanted him to have, and he does this in 2 flashbacks.
Mm-hmm. Which you think might be one.
You do think, and they could be. I would now like to read you the same breadth of film from ChatGPT.
Okay. Let's
Kronk's New Groove is a 2005 direct-to-video animated comedy film and a sequel to the 2000 Disney film The Emperor's New Groove. The movie follows character Kronk, who is a supporting character in the original film. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read like a robot. The story begins with Kronk working as a chef at Mudka's Meat Hut, where he is known for his delicious spinach puffs. So far better. One day, Kronk receives a visit from his overbearing father,
Oh?
who is disappointed that his son is not a successful scout leader like he is.
What?
Okay.
That's when I read that. I was like, oh no, did that happen? I don't remember.
Jimmy, they're talking about
but-
you.
That's right. I'm a disappointing scout leader.
But would be a better movie.
It would be. Kronk lies and tells his father that he's the head chef of his own restaurant and that he is married with children. Kronk's father decides to visit him to see his supposed family and restaurant for himself. In order to maintain his lie, Kronk enlists the help of his friends Pacha, Cusco's former advisor, and Chicha, Pacha's wife. So Pacha was never Cusco's former advisor, by the way.
No.
Was there a comma
Together, they
between-
create a fake restaurant and family for Kronk to show his father. However, things quickly spiral out of control when Kronk's old friends from the original movie, Yzma and Kronk's former campers, enter the picture. Former campers. Yzma, who's turned into a cat at the end of the first
What
movie,
is
has found a
this
way to turn
movie?
herself back into a human and is seeking revenge on Cusco. She learns of Kronk's lie and decides to use it to her advantage, convincing Kronk to help her with her plan to take over the throne. I'm almost done with the ChatGPT. Meanwhile, Kronk's former campers, who have become spoiled and entitled, show up at his doorstep and demand that he help them with the scout competition. Kronk is torn between his loyalty to Yzma and his desire to help his friends. In the end, he decides to do what is right and helps his friends win the scout competition. Didn't read this all the way through.
So that is oddly that I was trying to come up with an analogy while watching the movie that works for me. And I think that description is to the actual like plot synopsis how this movie is to actual comedy. Like it you can tell that you can tell that it's trying,
Right.
like, and
Yeah.
it kind of almost gets there, but at some point it's just like, you don't understand anything, do you?
No, that's exactly right. He also foils Yzma's plan to take over the throne, leading to her capture and imprisonment. Final paragraph. In the final scene, Kronk is seen running his own restaurant, Kronk's Place, with Pacha and Chicha and his loyal customers. Kronk's father, who has finally learned to appreciate his son for who he is, comes to visit and offers him a job as a scout leader. Kronk declines,
really
stating that he has
focused on that
found
one
his
thing.
true calling as a chef and a friend. The movie ends with Kronk and his friends enjoying a delicious meal together. That is ChatGPT's synopsis of the film.
Oh my god.
And it would be a better movie because
it
it's
would.
actually telling
Probably.
a coherent story.
It's not John Mulaney. What's the guy? The Frasier's dad is Kronk's dad.
Oh yeah. Not John, and you're right. It isn't John Mulaney, but it's like so close that once you get
John
to John
Mahoney.
Mulaney, yes.
Tracy Ullman is the love interest in this.
What?
The British one?
Huh.
She's Birdwell. Is Tracy Ullman.
Okay,
Crazy.
and this
Like this
character,
is a star-studded film.
Oh my god.
What about her
Birdwell.
character? What about Birdwell? Tell us.
Nobody
Why
cares.
why is she British?
Because Tracy Ullman's British, duh.
And clearly, Tracy Ullman isn't capable of doing any other accents or voices or
That's right.
characters.
There's been no precedent. for that.
No documented.
That's right.
I hate this movie.
I know it's awful.
I don't
Is this
wanna
the
watch
first
it
that we
again.
all just hate?
It's been a while. I'm it's kind of nice having us all on the same page. Once
Just
again.
wait, listener. At the end of the movie, Dad's going to start defending it. It's actually not bad, guys.
No, it's
I really
awful.
kind of liked
It
it.
is awful. It's an
No.
awful movie.
Okay, in the first flashback, we're back to what really happened. In the first flashback, Kronk delivers food to old people at the Flickering Embers Home for Seniors. On the way out, he follows a coin on a string to Yzma, who's now human again, despite still having a tail, her new lair. Now, this is
a bit that should be funny.
it
like,
should be funny.
It
It's a
could
coin
be
on a
done
string.
in a way that's funny.
He's poor. He's chasing after money. And it just goes on way too long.
And it's so poor. The movie is so poorly made, and it's so bad that him going into a little tiny box that it's clearly a trap for an animal,
Yes.
and then
Got a picture
walking
of an
into
animal.
a big palace-like structure.
Yes.
That's not even funny because it's everything in this movie is done so poorly.
Yes.
I don't want Yzma to be half human, half cat. She needs to be one or the other.
Speak for yourself.
All right.
It would be
Officially.
funnier if she was a cat, if she was a full
Yeah,
cat.
it sure would.
And what if it wasn't a flashback? What if it was just like a normal, it was like, okay, it's the end of my
this
shift.
just happened this day. Yeah.
Or he was obviously still concerned about his dad showing up, but he's like, I'm going to fix myself right now today. Because everyone can relate to that, where it's like, we all think about ourselves and like, oh man, I wish I was better. Well, I'll start changing now. Ooh, a coin, like we get so distracted so easily. And it makes sense for Kronk to do that. But as a flashback, it's like just less interesting. Anyway, proceed.
Audrey, I think you're right. And what's coming to me now is I think they painted themselves into a corner because they tried to do what the first movie did and start at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to start at the end, and they gave themselves a limitation of a day.
Good point.
Yeah.
Like this is what happened. This is what happened earlier in the day. So they had no choice because the day is only so long. And I had that thought when I was watching, like, what are they going to do to fill a movie that happened in one day that his life went from perfect to shambles? So they had no choice but the flashback. And my prediction is they did the flashbacks first, and then they tied in the bookends. That's my thought.
Nah, probably.
And I think too that starting it with starting it the way they started it, I think at least for me, it reminded me of the better movie.
Right.
Yep.
And I just wanted to watch that movie.
Yeah.
And then another piece to that is that in the original movie, it doesn't start at the beginning. It starts in like at the end of the middle of the second act ish. So when we get there, then it's like, okay, let's see. Now we get to see more. Now there's resolution. Now there's like, we've come this far. Now we feel something for this person. And, oh, I remember that. And then, movie length, we still have some amount of time. I can't wait to see where this goes. And then this one, when we get there, it's like the story's basically over.
Let me ask you a question, Dan.
Yeah.
How long have you had a beard?
You mean my wife? Are you referring to my wife?
I mean, how long
You
have
were
you
at
known
our
Audrey?
wedding.
No, seriously. Is your facial hair new? Am I just that tired?
I'm trying to think how much we want to talk about this.
I don't know. It looks good. Let me just say it looks
Thank you.
good.
I appreciate
it. Works.
that.
It works for me. Is it new?
Okay. It is. Well, I mean, like most people, I have been able to grow some amount of facial hair since an earlier age.
Yes.
And we talked a little bit about it, and how some people were too interested in it. It's new, but it's also like more like I stopped caring, you know? And I'm kind of,
it looks good.
It makes me happy that my lack of care is like helpful aesthetically, but
yeah, it works. Because remember I asked you earlier if you'd lost weight. It just, I don't know. It's working for me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no.
But just tell me if I'm crazy. Have you had it for a year?
Not this much. Okay. I'm leaving all of this in, by the way. You're welcome, listener.
All right. So, listener, before the flashback, Kronk gets this llamagram, and then he describes to, what's her name again?
Babs.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Babs.
Oh, Barb Szymanski.
Barb
Szymanski.
Barb. That was close.
Describes that Poppy, he's always wanted Poppy's approval. There's a flashback of him with oven mitts as a little boy, and Dad comes in. He's menacing. He's got all these looks, right? All these, like he's first the snarl, and then the nostril breathing thing, like all these, which I didn't care about at all. Like
it's like
he's trying to.
It feels like a sketch written by like a middle schooler.
Yeah, and that it's this big
he huffed
menacing
and he puffed
Poppy.
And he blew his house down.
Yeah,
Right.
and you know Kronk, listener, if you know Emperor's New Groove, he's this massive hulking creature, but Dad is like 1.5 feet tall, right? That whole trope of this, he's so like intimidated by his tiny father, and so he goes through this series of things that his father will do to show his disapproval, and all he wants is a thumbs up. And when this is happening, we all know that that's what's going to happen in the end. He's going to get his thumbs up from his dad. So the rest of it doesn't matter. It's just
they telegraph
the rest of it
whole
doesn't
story.
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the whole the Barb Szymanski.
But credit where credit is due. I did find I had a legitimate almost laugh when baby young Kronk is dancing through the whatever with the drawing of his dad. Mm-hmm. That was funny for me. It's just this really poorly drawn father character with its thumb up. And but I'm trying to be fair here. It was the whole rest that's like it's like finding a little sliver of gold shaving
corn and a piece of poop.
Yeah, it's a piece of corn and a turd, basically.
I don't remember.
I was trying not to go there, but yeah.
I don't either.
I was also drinking that night, so because how else are you going to get through this movie?
Oh my god! All right, so the coin on a string. The string is, I think, 4 miles long.
Yzma's lair has the same like lever and like. Oh, now we're on it. Lever. It's a small world.
I fixed it. It's a small world plays. Yeah. And there's a lot of references that were fun. But anyway, that was
a little fun.
That's right. So they go on the big water flume and it's a small world. So anyway, so Yzma shows Kronk her vault of bottles of what she claims is youth potion. Mm-hmm. And she tells Kronk to sell it to old people to make enough money to buy a house on a hill to get a thumbs up from Poppy. Cusco interrupts the film. Cusco interrupts the film to briefly explain that the youth potion was fake in case any viewers didn't notice.
Right. Not needed.
Missed that part.
I think it was needed. Someone in the writer's room. I think maybe someone in the writer's room was like, when are we going to have the moment when he stops the movie? And they're like, I don't know, maybe here. Whatever.
It's been 10 minutes. Let's do it. Rudy, one of the old people, offers to sell the senior home to Kronk to make money.
Is Rudy the voice of Piglet?
We have one more act for you this evening. I don't even need to say his name. Mr. Bob Dylan.
From the
director of Walk the Line and Ford vs. Ferrari.
If anyone is going to hold your attention on stage, you have to kind of be a freak.
And starring Timothée Chalamet as Bob Dylan.
Are you a freak?
Hope so.
Once upon a time, you're just so fine.
Inspired by the true story.
I want to know which side he's on.
This Christmas,
They just want me singing blowing in the wind for the rest of my life.
Bobby, what do you want to be?
Whatever it is they don't want me to be.
he defied everyone
Turn it down!
Play loud!
to change everything.
He's our Elvis.
With no direction.
Timothée Chalamet, Edward Norton, Elle Fanning, Monica Barbaro.
Make some noise, BD. Track some mud on a carpet.
A complete unknown. Only in theaters Christmas Day. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent.
I don't know. It's not credited in this. I'll find out.
They do sound similar.
They do. It did sound a lot. What's his name again? He does Tigger and Piglet, or not Piglet, Tigger and Pooh. Jim Cummings is his name.
Yeah. So Yzma's running a scam. She's
John Fiedler. John Fiedler is his name.
John Fecal-Matter. Okay.
She is Adolfo
he
Peretti,
was in
the
Pooh's
master of
Heffalump
barbers,
movie.
the barber of kings. But Jordan, be good day. I blow you a kiss.
But John, good day.
The most famous of barbers, Adolfo Peretti, blah, 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 blah. Who say this elixir is peace? Who says
He plays
this?
Piglet.
Oh, he does.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah,
You
good catch.
caught that, Audrey, because I thought the same thing.
And this movie has songs. Actual songs.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Please don't play them.
No, why would I?
And I disagree. Those are not songs. They were saying words to different notes.
They are things that have been called songs in some setting, I'm sure. Yeah. It's so yeah, Yzma's an NFT bro, basically.
Yeah. So Kronk buys the old folks home. Kronk buys the old folks home from the old folks and puts his large new home there. After Kronk finishes writing his letter to Poppy about his new house, Rudy comes in and is naked because he sold his clothes to make money. Mm-hmm. Rudy explains to Kronk that he is now broke, but then Kronk suddenly realizes that Yzma scammed the old people with a fake potion, so they tell the others before they elect Yzma emperor. What happened?
Well, okay. In the 80s, there was a lot of deregulation and...
But it's not actually a youth potion because he's still old. But he's so addicted to this thing that he sells his clothes and they have nowhere to live because Kronk bought their house.
It's
Can
Breaking
you
Bad.
guess right, yeah. Can you guess the part of this that's this moment when I had to pause the movie and
Is it the Gollum
anything
impression?
else? Oh, it sure was.
Oh, the Gollum impression. Yeah, that's a good point.
My precious. It was like, a lot of times when I'm watching these movies, I'm aware that I don't want to say hypercritical. I think for my brain, I'm just me, but I understand, the track record is there. Generally, I'm the one least likely to like these just because, like an idiot, I try to watch it like it's a real movie. And and so every time I'm watching one of these movies, I'm like, is it just me? Like I'll identify little things that Jimmy might like or little things Audrey might like. And at this point, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm pretty sure they both don't love it, but I'm still at that place where I'm like, I might be kind of on my own in terms of me just saying that it's terrible. And then the Gollum thing happens. I'm like, nope, it is that bad. It's that bad.
Yeah. I don't know. So explain to me what the youth potion actually is.
Sewage.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's nothing.
It's nothing.
It's a placebo.
But they okay. So it's a placebo.
It's
snake oil.
It's a scam.
Okay, all
Scam.
right. Thank you, because I thought it was something and I didn't understand. But they're going to stop Yzma from being emperor because she sold him all this youth potion, which didn't actually work. It wasn't actually youth potion.
No, mirrors don't
the old
exist.
people. then chase Yzma all the way to a bridge, and then Yzma drinks a potion to transform herself into a rabbit because she wanted to be cute so they couldn't be mad at her, right? Because if she turns herself into a little rabbit, which, by the way, I appreciate as a good bit. Because
not a bad bit.
She becomes a rabbit so they can't get mad at her, but then she gets immediately snatched by an eagle.
That was funny.
That was funny. Then Rudy says he and the other old people are living in an alley, and because Kronk cheated Rudy by accident, he generously gives his home back to them. Machu Picchu.
What was it I had trouble with?
A man, a canal, Panama.
Kyoto Protocol. See, I can do it now.
There you go.
Kyoto Protocol?
So that's the first flashback, which at the end of that, I'm like, oh, good movie, the end. And then it wasn't halfway done.
Bad movie, not the end.
This is when I started watching German TikToks. Oh, here's what it's like to drive on the Autobahn. Wow.
I think I started making
super
graphs.
fast.
In Germany, we don't
graphs
say.
for my stupid teaching thing.
What? Audrey, continue.
Oh,
Yeah,
nothing.
It
was nothing. It was just a video about how Germans love to wear puffer jackets in wintertime.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So, listener, if you've not seen this movie, first of all, don't. Second, let me tell you what happens in the second flashback, because so far there's been some kind of continuity.
Great.
I mean, let's be fair though. Some people, want to see how bad a thing can be. Like, there are people that, for example, will watch a Serbian film, and if you're one of those people.
Okay. In the second flashback, Kronk is shown as a troop leader at Camp Chippo. This must be where the Chat GPT got it. In the second flashback, Kronk is shown as a troop leader at Camp Chipamunk.
That just sounds bad.
He receives word from a squirrel that a new troop leader named Birdwell, Tracy Ullman, seeks to win the trophy. During the aquatic competition, Birdwell's troop wins the point just because Kronk went first when the troops had to complete in alphabetical order. This is the same movie that we've been describing. It's the same movie. After the other
if you like the Serbian film, you need to see bro. Just watch this movie. You won't believe it.
We've lost Dan.
Dan is
After the other competitions, the troops are tied eventually. Because of this, the chipmunk cheer-off is needed to decide the winner.
Bring it, Kronk.
Kronk tells his little chippers to do whatever it takes to win, and this gives Tipo the idea to cheat. I don't remember any of this. Did this actually happen? Is this ChatGPT?
No,
again?
this actually happened. Yeah.
All right. So Kronk and Birdwell separately make raisin bread to cheer up their little chippers. But then they realize there's a song here, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. There is.
Yeah, I remember that.
It honestly, the song may as well be about raisin bread.
What did you guys think of the song that
Raisin
Yzma
bread.
sang? Did you like that? It was
No
pretty
idea what you're
fun.
talking
It was
about.
a number. Here's a
I got
big
nothing.
number, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't that good. It's just
No,
we
it was
really
awful.
we really should do an episode where we do a watch through, like where we've seen it and we have notes and then we watch it together.
This could be a good candidate.
This
for
would
it.
be a good one. And then the
Our
listener
first
can hit
live
play when we
taping.
hit play, and
Yeah.
I like that idea.
And then we
should
give
do
it to
that at some
Jason
point.
and suggest that he put it on Patreon.
And he says no.
Well, if you cut it down to 20 minutes, and then
That's
we'll
right.
say, well, that's kind of not the point of that. And be like, yeah,
No.
it needs to be 20 minutes.
The movie's 75.
Yeah,
No,
it's-
20
cut it
minutes.
down.
Okay, so they make their raisin bread together and eventually fall in love. That is exactly That is exactly the speed with which that happens.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, the two, that's right. I think it's one. Is it one?
It depends on the movie. I think in this one, it's I think in this one, the magic bullet is if you label things that are yours the same way.
Oh yeah, same handwriting.
Oh,
well, these are Kronk's eggs. No one else.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And she labeled them the same way. The
exactly.
eggs. Yeah.
Again, another reason why it's like it makes Kronk seem less unique because everybody else is using these same conventions.
That's a really good point.
Kronk stood out so much in the first movie because he just didn't follow the logic of any of the other characters. He was that stupid. Or
that's right.
Genius.
It's just stupid
or genius.
And he was stupid, but like also just super weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you said that before too. Like he was just a real weirdo to the point where if you play it right, he could potentially be effective without knowing why or how he is effective.
This is a better Kronk is not he cannot carry a movie.
No.
Exactly.
This is a better movie if it's Yzma's movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a better movie. That's why that first part with Yzma before this second flashback was better. Or it's Cusco's movie and there's the sequel that ChatGPT came up with.
Right.
Like that's a better movie because Kronk just doesn't carry a movie.
Exactly.
Or if you want to make if you want to put Kronk in that lead role, make it like Sherlock Kronk and like he's solving all these weird mysteries and by accident. But there's the sidekick who is like, you're an idiot. Like what's happening?
Right. Or Kronk, the character, is a persona and he really is like it's a character he puts on to infiltrate stuff, right? And he's really a super genius.
We've already come up
CIA.
with
4 movies that are better.
Yeah, we've come up with like many, many movies that are so much better than this.
All right, so they make bread and they fall in love. The next day, the 2 troop leaders declare a truce and pass out the raisin bread. And the little chippers find out that Kronk and Birdwell are now in love. But Tipo is not there to witness. Who's Tipo?
He's the little kid. Pacha's kid.
Is not there. Is it Pacha's kid?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it matters.
Because all the kids look alike in this movie.
Right.
All
It's like
we went over this. There are different shapes of children.
3 to be exact. Right. So Tipo's not there to witness it because he is preparing a prank where he puts itching powder in Troop Birdwell's hand chalk.
He makes his own itching powder, by the way.
Mm-hmm. I believe that all of this happened. Despite the truce, they still do the chipmunk cheer off because the little chippers had been tiringly working on their routines for a long time. Tipo tells Kronk about the prank he pulled, and then Birdwell discovers this and has a word with Tipo. Kronk admits that he told Tipo to do whatever it takes to win at the cost of alienating Birdwell.
And like all rational adults, she responds, how? By saying, this is my nightmare. We've talked about this before. This is
not actually communicating.
Not actually communicating. And because he could have very easily said, hey, remember 5 minutes ago in the plot of this movie when we were bitter arch rivals and we were like doing anything we could to screw each other over? Remember when we both experienced that situation? And isn't it possible that somebody could, in that situation, give someone the wrong idea about their intent and how far they'd be willing to go to win and to make you look bad? Remember how that's like a normal human thing to be a petty, awful person. Mm-hmm. And then we discovered that we actually are deeply in love. Yeah. And you know how sometimes kids get sick? You see this little shaped child? He was sick that one day when we talked about it.
Right.
So he did the thing. And you know how children sometimes do things like that they think are helpful and actually aren't. But instead it's just like, I hate you now.
That's right.
Dumb.
It is very dumb. And I want to remind the listener, if you rewind back, 30 minutes, that movie we were describing, this is the same movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important to mention.
It's the same movie. After both flashbacks, Poppy, John Mahoney of Frasier fame, is about to arrive, and Kronk realizes that Pacha has what Kronk needs to get him a thumbs up.
A big
wife.
old dick. Sorry, what?
What? Pacha has a wife and kids with a house on a hill. When Poppy arrives, Kronk tells Poppy that Chicha is his wife. That's the lady I said before, his wife.
Ah, yeah, I love her.
Yeah, what is her name? And it doesn't matter. Well, now I'm going to have to just look it up. I can see her face.
Here's a PSA for our listeners. At around minute 34, there's an epilepsy warning. And I also want to note that I don't think this movie passes the Bechdel test. So,
it sure doesn't.
Wendy Malick, and you're right. All right. So when Poppy arrives, Kronk tells Poppy that Chicha, Wendy Malick, is his wife, that Pacha's kids are Kronk's kids, and that Pacha's house is Kronk's house, and that Pacha, whom he calls Pachita, this is definitely South America or Mexico, is his mother-in-law.
Everyone's cross-dressing at this point.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Which, of course, is followed by some not gays. Because some not gays, where a character feels that they need to prove that they are not gay because they were just attracted to somebody who was dressed
There's
as a lady.
some of that
right.
in the first movie too. There's like oh no, we almost kissed because
right. There's a lot. I forgot. There's a lot of not gays.
2005 was not that long ago, but man, was it a long time ago.
Things that you can't do today.
Well, probably shouldn't have done then. Tipo tells the old people to pretend to be Kronk's wife and kids, and suddenly confusion ensues.
It's Three's Company again.
It is very Three's Company, Dan. It's 100%. While Kronk is preparing food, the oven continually gets hotter and explodes in a giant mess of cheese, exactly where the film started.
And because it's a cartoon, the oven is labeled with descriptions of heat.
That's right.
Yeah.
And what are they? Like scalding.
They're scalding,
inferno,
volcanic,
right?
The devil's butt,
devil's butt. Then Kronk admits he lied to Poppy, but Chaka
doesn't matter.
Chewbacca
comforts him. Oh my God. What the hell?
Are you awake?
No, I'm not.
Just to be clear, none of us are smelling burning toast right now.
That is true. And I have only had 1.5 drinks. Chaka could.
Okay, hold on. Let's go back and really sexy this time.
Who's Chaka?
It's John Goodman, I think, isn't it?
No, that's Pancha.
Oh God, I don't know.
Well, give us the whole sentence.
Must be one of the kids. All right. Okay.
Then, hold on. Kronk listener, if you know who Chaka is, call 856 our ears right now. And doesn't matter what the voicemail says.
Just say.
Doesn't matter. Just
tell us who Chaka is.
Tell us who
no
Chaka
context.
is. Zero context. In fact, the least context might win a prize, which
you get a weenie shirt.
Throw in some heavy breathing before and after.
That's right. As sexy as possible.
And say, "Hey, John."
All right. Then Kronk admits he lied to Poppy, but Chaka comforts him by reminding him that he has plenty of friends. I did it. Then others explain to Poppy about how Kronk used to have a house on a hill and a girlfriend, but he gave them up to protect his friends. The girlfriend was from the campsite. In the end, Kronk realizes that his wealth is in his friendships. And this finally wins his father's thumbs up. Never saw that coming. Poppy tells Kronk he is proud of him, finally accepting him, and to Kronk's surprise, Miss Birdwell,
hold on. I got it. Shaka, also known as Shaka Zulu, was King of the Zulu Kingdom from
Oh my
1868.
Is this South America or Africa? Let's make up our minds.
It's Disney. It doesn't matter. It's all the
so
same.
at Epcot, he'd be in the African outpost between,
why not?
between China and Germany.
In Morocco, because why not?
Miss Birdwell returns and reignites his love for her. Everyone celebrates by dancing, and Poppy hugs Kronk and Birdwell. Meanwhile, just outside the house, Yzma is in the condor's nest with the 2 eggs. She's still a bunny. The 2 eggs, which hatch, presumably attack her before the credits roll. In the credits are shown the photos of Kronk and Birdwell's honeymoon, including Paris, Pisa, and Venice. The end.
Oh, I didn't even make it that far. I watched.
Me neither.
I watched these things on. I watch it on Chromecast because I'm super rich. And often I will go back or I'll go home or whatever. Hit the button that allows me to see other things. I just hit power as soon as the movie was over. I'm like, I'm turning this off right now.
Which is such a shame because the first movie was so good.
It was really good.
I think I wrote a paper about it in either college or high school, and I wish I could find that paper and reread it and then, reflect on how stupid I am.
Remember when we used to do rankings?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
This is Belle's Magical World for me.
It's... yeah.
It's
okay.
totally disjointed. It totally doesn't make any sense. It's terrible storytelling.
I would say it's worse because
I think you're right.
Because Belle's Magical World.
Remember we used to gag when we had to say that?
I mean, Belle's Magical
Grown.
Now it's
it's like it was. I don't know how to say this. Beauty and the Beast was just kind of a standard Disney movie. I mean, like, yeah, it was
nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards, Dan.
Okay, fine, I get it. It's the best possible Disney movie ever made, except for the ones that came after it. And
then they did the animated feature.
Okay. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is story-wise, it's just your typical princess, abusive relationship, happily ever after, low standards for herself, normal. So all you have to do
didn't pass the Bechdel test. For sure.
Certainly didn't. All you have to do is kind of just make a lateral move movie wise, and that movie structurally was terrible, and just if they had all the same stuff sequenced in a different way or expanded on one of those things, maybe it wouldn't have been that bad. Still bad, but not that bad. This movie is terrible because it takes what is unique about the original one compared to all the other Disney movies and just it's in its mouth.
Mm-hmm. It's like they took the joke and explained it. The joke in the first movie is Kronk, and it's like, here's why Kronk is funny.
Yeah, it's definitely Girl in a Tub.
What? Come again?
No, don't.
No, you won't.
No, don't. Listener, public service announcement. Do not Google
Don't
this.
go further. Don't go further.
Just like watching this movie, do not Google Girl in a Tub.
Well, yeah.
All right. I gave the public service announcement.
No, I know.
They won't do it.
It's so... Is it worse than Two Girls, One Cup? No.
Oh.
Because I didn't have to stifle vomiting. But it's bad.
It's bad.
It's on the same level.
All right.
Sure.
So as we're watching this movie, we are going to get...
Sorry, what?
So say that again, Audrey?
I was just saying, same level as Belle's Magical World.
It's there, and it may be worse,
there.
to Dan's point. Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. You got both of them right in front of you. You have to watch one. Which one are you watching?
Belle.
I'm going with Belle.
Maybe it's recency bias.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I would also choose Belle, but I think for that reason, as I haven't seen it as recently as I
Because
saw this pile
I think
of
that this movie
trash.
has enough redeeming qualities with some of the gags, some of the references. It's better animation.
Well,
So I think maybe recency bias.
I think though, for me, it's like Bell's it was like, it's bad in a way where it's just like, this is just bad. This is just people the monkeys with the typewriters did this. It was just, it's like no one gave a crap.
The Chat GPT of the 90s.
Yeah, basically. Where this one is bad in so many baffling ways because there are things about it that could be good, and that some things are good. And it's like, did the person who came up with the hawk taking away the bunny or whatever, did they just like, they put that bit out there and then they like died? Like,
I think what happened is that was the joke and they wrote a movie around it.
That would be wonderful. I would oddly
How do we get
that.
there? That should have been the end of the movie. I would have liked it a lot better.
Yeah, I agree.
So as we're watching this movie, we're going to get plastered
because there's no.
It's the only way to make it entertaining, and we're going to drink.
Hold on, Jimmy. I need to correct you. Tolerable.
What's tolerable?
It doesn't make it entertaining. It makes it
tolerable. That's fair. We're going to be drinking Dr. Kronk's Compound Sarsaparilla beer, or simply Kronk. It was an American flavored small beer made with sassafras, sarsaparilla, ginger, green tea, and molasses. So you'll notice, listener, that all of those things don't belong together. Very similar to this film. None of it belongs together.
Perfect.
Believed to have had a taste resembling spicy root beer. Attributed to one Warren Cook, it first appears in records in 1840, because this movie's set in the past, in Syracuse, New York, and is believed to have been franchised and sold in the 19th century in the United States and Canada. The long-lost Compound Sarsaparilla beer's recipe was rediscovered in June of 2020. Nothing else going on. After Kronk attracted heightened interest and trended on Twitter. Breweries in Calgary and Ottawa released versions of Kronk later in the year. Modern-day Kronk brews have been described as having a taste resembling a light herbal liquor. That's what we're going to be drinking. By the way, this Kronk is spelled with a C. But there is a beer spelled Kronk, but that's not what we're drinking. What are we going to eat?
Well, we're going to eat some sea bugs and dirt. Sea bugs. Sea bugs meaning lobsters, because they look like the weird bugs that they like suck the guts out of in the first movie. Yeah. And that's all I could come
in the
up
second
with.
movie, by the way.
There you go. So surf's up. Dig in.
So, and what we're going to be listening to instead of watching this movie, because this is a person who came up with more coherent stories than this movie contains. This is Wesley Willis. Wesley Willis was a man who many have compared to like a punk rocker. He had pretty severe schizophrenia.
Whoa.
And I believe, while not homeless, did not like have his, as far as I know, I think he lived by like just like the help of others. He became a street musician in Chicago, and he had a very distinct style in which he would come up with an idea for a song, such as like he would write songs that were like portraits of people, for example. Cool. This is one category. Like he had a song called Alanis Morissette, and he would talk in the lyrics about, like, the verse would be about the person and just kind of like his impression of them and how he feels about them, you know, filtered through whatever his mental state was at the time. And then the chorus would be just a repetition of the title, in this case, Alanis Morissette, over and over again. And then he would end every song with Rock Over London, Rock on Chicago, and then some kind of advertising slogan that actually existed.
What?
And he would do all of this using the preset beat on a Casio keyboard. So the song of his that I'm proposing to you, which is more coherent and makes far more sense than this movie, is a song called I Whooped Batman's Ass.
Okay.
I was
Batman got on my
AFK,
nerves. He was
but I
running me a
remember
mouth.
Wesley Willis.
He ridiculed me, calling me a bum. I whooped
What was the song
Batman's ass.
that we used to play?
I
Sucker
whooped
Caribou's ass.
Batman's ass.
There was
I
one.
whooped
Because I remember him sounding like he had
Batman's
downs.
ass. I
I
whooped
forget what song it was used to play me all the
Batman's
time.
ass.
Wesley Willis.
I whooped Batman's ass. I whooped.
Jello Biafra from the Dead Kennedys actually wrote a really interesting essay about Wesley, basically making a
Batman
really
thought
solid.
He was bad.
Hold on.
He was a pumping asshole in the first place.
Oh.
He got knocked to the floor.
It's going to be a lot of cha-chings in these episodes.
Not too many.
I whooped
So anyway, Jello Biafra
Batman's ass.
basically said Wesley Willis was because he passed away. Probably more punk than anyone possibly can be, because it was just a pure expression of unfiltered. This is what's going on with me. This is what I think. I do not care if it sounds good. It's just pure expression.
That's pretty punk.
It is. This is the fill the break where he presses the button that says fill on the keyboard.
So all of his songs have the same backing track?
I thought you might ask me that, so I also have Rock and Roll McDonald's.
Oh my god.
McDonald's is a place to rock.
It's different.
It's
It is a
faster.
restaurant where they buy food to
but
eat.
it's
It is a good
kind
place
of.
to listen to the music. People flock here to get down to the rock music.
All right. Well,
Rock and roll McDonald's. Rock and roll McDonald's. Rock and roll McDonald's.
Again,
Rock and roll
more coherent.
McDonald's.
I'm not even joking. This is more,
It is, yeah.
a more lucid,
McDonald's will make
more
you fat.
clear.
They serve Big Macs.
They serve Big Macs.
It's very
He's
clear.
talking about how much people love to listen to the rock and roll music at McDonald's.
Rock and roll McDonald's. Rock
Apparently
and
this
roll
song, I could be getting this wrong, but it's something along the lines of he was at a McDonald's and they were playing rock music and he noticed that people were really enjoying it.
So
that
it's
was
the rock and roll
it's the rock and roll
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
good.
Yes, like this movie, these songs are technically songs.
How dare you?
It's technically a movie.
You are being an ableist right now. I want to get to Rock Over London. Just so
Okay.
Audrey can experience it.
All right.
And he's not going to sue
Oh.
us. His ghost isn't going to sue us or anything. It's fine. Honestly, though, if this is at all intriguing to anybody out there, I'm telling you, this is a very deep well. You can listen to it ironically, I guess, but it's extremely interesting if you listen to it as, like, what's going on with this guy's point of view.
McDonald's hamburgers are the worst. They are
Oh.
worse than Burger King. A Big Mac has 26 grams of fat. A quarter pounder has 28 grams of fat.
It does. I mean, it's true.
Rock and roll McDonald's.
Wow.
You learn things listening to his
You
music.
sure do. Worse than Burger King. That's interesting. I think that's probably true.
Rock and roll McDonald's.
In some ways.
Well, one's flame
Rock
broiled.
over London.
Here we go.
Rock on Chicago. Wheaties. Breakfast of champions.
There we go.
It is. That is their slogan.
That's a slogan.
Again, this song, it's totally this movie.
It's not worse.
Just none of it means anything, and none of it works with anything else.
It's better because it's shorter than the movie.
That's true.
That's true.
Well, I might have listened to this song more than I listened to the movie.
But yeah, if you want more, if you want to hear Wesley Willis at his most prime, like worked up and angry, Suck a Caribou's Ass it's one of my, I'm not lying, it's one of my favorite songs.
So this movie was produced by Walt Disney Pictures and Disney Toon Studios. And do you know what else was produced by Walt Disney Pictures and Disney Toon Studios?
The Barb Szymanski story.
Nothing less than Bambi 2.
Oh, God, is that our next one?
That's our next one.
Oh, God.
Bambi 2. Dan, go ahead and finish.
Lord help us.
What's the subtitle? There you go.
But this is good, just in time for Easter, right?
Ooh,
that's right.
That's perfect.
Because Bambi's mom comes back to life.
She is risen. Praise it. Praise
All
her.
the forest critters worship her.
What's the best is I was going to say this is where Bambi's mom comes to life before Audrey said Easter, and that worked really well. Good job.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Bambi, I need to do some work on it, but I think the Frontierland Shooting Gallery, the Fantasyland Shooting Gallery will be a t-shirt.
Nice.
I gave Jason the graphic. He's, I think, begrudgingly thinking of making it.
With the Bambi.
Yeah. If
with
you
Bambi's
have,
mom.
If you want to celebrate, we might be able to celebrate the release of this movie.
Oh my God. I would totally wear that shirt.
I would absolutely wear
the
it.
Fantasyland Shooting Gallery with a picture of Bambi's mom.
Laying down of all.
Yeah, of course.
She's just sleeping.
Oh my God. And then Leroy and Stitch, Brother Bear 2, Fox and the Hound 2, Cinderella 3, which is what I've been waiting for.
Mm-hmm. Time travel.
Disney Princesses Enchanted Tales, Follow Your Dreams, Little Mermaid, Ariel's Beginning, Tinkerbell, Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure, Tinkerbell and the Great Fairy Rescue.
Oh, Tinkergeddon hits us at this point, right?
And then Secret of the Wings and the Pirate Fairy, Tinkerbell and the Legend of the Never Beast is our last film of season 1 of Scraping the Vault.
A long season.
Yeah.
We should do Tinkerpocalypse all in one go.
I think
we talked about that.
Yeah, I think we need to.
I don't know. That sounds exhausting.
We'll see.
That's what makes it fun.
But all of that, by the way, the first Tinkerbell movie is 2008. The last is 2015. So there are 7 years of Tinker. Yeah. Anyway, that's our show, everybody.
Thanks
so
for listening.
Great. Don't watch this movie.
Don't.
You know what you're going to drink. You know what you're going to eat. Concierge is a great Disney vacation planning. It doesn't have to just be Disney. You can do Universal. You can do cruises.
Jimmy loves Universal now.
I'm a Universalite now. Somebody named Thomas.
Hey, Thomas.
Tom Corliss. I booked a Disney cruise for him, booking a Royal Caribbean cruise for him. He is, of course, going to get us into Club 33 in April when Eric and I are there for a concierge event.
Nice.
Concierge is great. You should book with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have
Wouldn't
other
it be
shows.
awesome if Tom Corliss did book with you?
That would be awesome. Oh my God, Tom Corliss. When you listen to this,
Hi,
forget
Tom.
about the other podcasts.
Or when your lawyer listens to all of our
this
for
should
evidence.
Dan, our personas in this should be righteous Tom Corliss, like devotees, and then our other alter egos on the Supreme Resort, or his So anyway, Tom Corliss is a god, and
Audrey, just for context, Tom Corliss is a vlogger, a YouTube vlogger, Disney vlogger who is awful, and he makes everything about him.
Yes.
He is convinced that he single-handedly saved several attractions.
Yes.
Which were never slated to be closed.
So an egocentric narcissist. So if Disney
Hot.
does something really well, it's because he told them to.
Mm-hmm.
And if Disney does something poorly, it's in spite of him.
Yes. Oh, that's the other thing is that any move that they make is a direct reaction to him.
For what he did or said.
Huh.
Because he's got enough followers that, anyway. So, oh my God, Dan. So we have another show on this network called Bantha Milk Podcast. It started as Beskar
Milk Lemonade around
and
the corner.
Bantha Milk.
No, boobies.
Milk Lemonade around the corner, Bantha Milk.
Yeah.
And the most recent episode of The Mandalorian, this started as a Mandalorian podcast, the most recent episode features primarily Dr. Pershing. There's no spoilers here, people. Dr. Pershing is a college friend of mine. We went to college together. The actor. Not Dr. Pershing.
You're not from the
He
farm,
lived a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Right.
The actor who plays Dr. Pershing was a friend from college. We keep up on Facebook and that kind of thing. So I asked him if he would be on the Mad Milk podcast.
I'm tired of listening to this here.
The status is he read it. He read the instant messenger.
You're on
but
red.
I imagine.
But we'll see if you are left on red.
I think he read it. That's all. That's all for now. But what I wonder, like, does Disney / Lucasfilm or whatever, like, is he allowed? Because now he's like a prominent character in the series. Is he allowed to even talk to people about it?
It might be an NDA.
Probably depends on. It probably depends on where his character goes.
Based on this episode, and again, no spoilers. Based on this episode, he is. I mean, the episode's an hour long. The Mandalorian's in it for 5 minutes. The rest of it is this guy.
Whoa.
He's in every scene. He's in every shot. Like, it's about this guy.
Probably. I agree it probably is. But that's kind of left... we don't... I can't say anything.
All right. So the next 2 minutes of the podcast are dedicated to Rob and Ryan and whoever else is on that show. Who's on that show? All right, here it goes.
How about this? If you have not seen this episode...
No, there's no spoilers.
No. Okay.
This is my text to the actor, Omid Abtahi, who plays Dr. Pershing.
Which he has read.
Yes, he has read it. I feel gross even asking this, as we don't really regularly communicate, and I'm sure you get bombarded. But I suppose the answer is always no if you don't ask. I'm a part of a podcast network, a middle-aged white guy. It's a requirement to have a podcast. Anyway, one of the shows is a Star Wars podcast that started out called Beskar, Banter, and Bantha Milk, a show specifically about The Mandalorian. We were chatting once, and I told them I knew and went to college with Dr. Pershing. They asked if I would ask you to be a guest on their show, and I said, absolutely not. That's not cool. After today's episode, they begged me to ask. So there it is. Would you be willing? For context, the network is called Ears Up. Mostly Disney Parks-related content. My show is called The Supreme Resort,
and
a podcast about Disneyland.
More shows on that network are Ears Up. Also, sorry to steal your music here, Jimmy, but there's also the In Depth, where you get to listen to two nerds read their Google News feed. And then there's the Supreme Resort, which you mentioned, Beskar, down to the Milk Lemonade, and then that we covered them all. Now we go. Okay.
As a network, we had several 100,000 downloads last year. That was it. That has been read by one Omid Abtahi.
Hi, Omid.
By the way, listener, you don't get to see this, but every time that music comes on, Audrey's face lights up.
I love that song. It's so much fun. How could you not love it?
I like your hair, Audrey.
Thank you. I am hot, so I put it up.
Jamie's a big
Yeah,
fan
you
of-
are.
big fan of hair in this episode. Oh God, what happened?
Sorry. It's a lot of, I'm sorry. I'm all about hair. If it's
So,
on your face, it's on your head. I'm all about it.
Yeah. Is this the end of the episode? Do we wrap it up?
Oh, God. Have we started recording?
Okay. More spiteful.
By the fucking Disney animation Renaissance goddamn movie.
I do.
Sorry.
That's
sorry.
Okay,
we're gonna see you next month. That would be April
for realsies.
For realsies with Bambi 2, Electric Boogaloo.
God.
Mom comes back to life.
And if anyone, if you know any people who love the Serbian film, suggest that they watch Kronk.
Yeah, that's right.
How Kronk got his groove back.
Until next time.
Oh, Jinx. Oh, yeah.
You owe me a candy bar.
Okay.
Be kind and rewind.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to Asher's Philosopher's Corner. I liked the idea from this episode and thought I'd probably do it better anyways. My name is Asher and I'm a real kid who is cool. Just like you. My guest this week is a super smart guy who has it all figured out. It's Ben Shapiro. Yo, Ben. Have you ever tried that purple stuff from the old Sunny Delight commercials? It's like the epitome of being cool.
Asher, my dear boy, your fascination with such trivial matters is a direct reflection of the societal decay propagated by Hollywood and the like. Nevertheless, I shall indulge your inquiry for a moment. Pray tell what makes this purple stuff synonymous with being cool.
Dude, it's like, when you drink it, you feel so awesome, like you can do anything. Like when I'm skateboarding, I can totally nail that kickflip. It's like I'm unstoppable, man. Plus, my Canadian girlfriend loves it, and she's a model.
The ephemeral and capricious nature of youth. You see, Asher, what you perceive as being cool through the lens of this so-called purple stuff is merely a fleeting sensation, much like the transitory achievements of the disreputable Hollywood.
Yeah, maybe, but it's still fun. And it helps me and CJ get into all sorts of rad adventures. I don't know who Tom Sawyer is, but we're like modern-day versions of him, I bet.
Thomas Sawyer, fictional character created by Mark Twain, was indeed quite the mischievous youth. However, the pursuit of being cool through hedonistic endeavors such as consuming this purple stuff will not lead you to any profound understanding or lasting fulfillment. Absurdist theory, which you've seemingly conflated with being cool, actually explores the inherent meaninglessness of life, and the struggle to find meaning in an absurd world. I would argue that relying on this purple stuff as a source of fulfillment is a misinterpretation of the concept.
I dunno, man. I just think it's fun, and it makes me feel cool. Like, you gotta live in the moment, right? That's what life's all about. And if the purple stuff helps me do that, then it's gotta be good, right?
Well, Asher, I'd concede that living in the present and experiencing joy has its merits. However, my main contention lies in the overemphasis on superficial and ephemeral pleasures, which can lead to a lack of deeper understanding and appreciation for the complexities of life.
Dude, sometimes you just gotta ride the wave, you know? Like when I'm on my skateboard, I'm not thinking about all that deep stuff. I'm just enjoying the ride. And that's what the purple stuff is all about, having a blast and being cool in the moment.
I understand your perspective, Asher. However, I must reiterate my concern that an over-reliance on such transient pleasures will ultimately lead to a shallow existence. As you grow older, you may come to appreciate the value of a more profound understanding of the world in the pursuit of truth, rather than simply being cool.
Yeah, maybe. But for now, I just wanna have fun, skate, and hang with my friends. And if the purple stuff helps me do that, then I'm all for it.
Well, hello there. Young fellas, what are you two chatting about?
Greetings, Ms. White. We're discussing the merits of being cool, and its association with the purple stuff from the old Sunny Delight commercials. Asher believes it helps him enjoy life, while I argue that one must find a balance between transient pleasures and deeper understanding.
Oh, Maya, I remember those commercials. It's been ages. I'm not sure about being cool, but I do believe in enjoying life and having fun. You know, back in the days of the Golden Girls, we had our share of fun and laughter, even as we tackled more serious topics.
Ms. White, I greatly admire your work and how you manage to balance both entertainment and thought-provoking content. I believe that is a valuable lesson for young people like Asher.
Thank you, Ben. It's important to find joy in the moment while also engaging with the complexities of life. I remember during my time on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, we were able to make people laugh while addressing social issues of the time.
That's awesome, Betty White. You really know how to be cool and still be deep at the same time.
Indeed, Ms. White, your wisdom and experience are truly inspiring.
That balance is key. Well, thank you both. It's been a pleasure to learn from life and the many wonderful people I've met along the way.
Hey, would you be my new grandma? You're super cool, and I bet we'd have so much fun together.
Hello, thank you, Asher. I'd be delighted to be your honorary grandma. It's always a pleasure to spend time with such a spirited young person.
I must admit, I find myself envious of your newfound familial bond with the esteemed Ms. White. Her wisdom and grace are truly unparalleled.
See, Ben, even Betty White knows it's okay to have fun and be cool. Maybe you should try it sometime.
No, Asher, Ben has a point too. It's important to find a balance between enjoying the moment and engaging with the deeper aspects of life. As your new grandma, I want the best for you, so make sure to keep that in mind as you continue to grow and learn.
Thank you, Betty White. Hey, Betty, could you be my grandma too?
Of course I can, Ben. You are also a real and cool boy.
Just like me.
Haha, that's right, Asher.
And so, our story takes a delightful turn. Asher, Ben, and their newfound honorary grandmother, Betty White, began to embark on a series of real and cool adventures together. They found a harmonious balance between enjoying life's simple pleasures and engaging in deeper, more meaningful experiences. Asher continued to skateboard, drink the purple stuff, and share his zest for life with all those around him. His friendship flourished as they got into all sorts of fun and innocent mischief. He also spent time learning from Betty and Ben, discovering that there was more to life than just being cool. Ben, with the help of Asher and Betty, started to embrace the lighter side of life. He found joy in the present and began to appreciate the importance of fun and laughter, all while maintaining his deeply rooted love for meaningful conversations and exploration of truth. As for Betty White, she cherished her role as Asher's honorary grandmother, imparting her vast wisdom and experiences to the younger generations. Her days were filled with laughter, love, and a profound sense of fulfillment, knowing that she was making a positive impact on their lives. Together, this unlikely trio decided to open up a Subway shop in Tustin, where they could share their love for delicious and wholesome food with the community. The shop became a local favorite and a place where people could gather to share stories, laughter, and the simple joy of breaking bread together. Asher, Ben, and Betty White's unique bond transcended age and background, and their Subway shop served as a testament to the happiness found in both the simple moments and deeper connections of life. And so, Ben and Betty White lived happily ever after, just like you